season lacrosse can sometimes feature some mismatches. Just ask the Edgewood Eagles in their opener against the Knights of Calvin University in Grand Rapids, Michigan on February 15th. They found themselves down 15-0 at halftime and 16-0 before they got their first goal of the season in an 18-2 loss. The Eagles have had 11 days to lick their wounds since then, but the challenge does not get much easier tonight against both a hungry and unbeaten Carthage Firebirds team that already has 3 wins on the season and has outscored its first 3 opponents by a 48-19 total. Alec Gurn already has 14 goals on the season. Andrew Johnson is the reigning CCIW Men's Lacrosse Offensive Player of the Week after recording 7 points on 4 goals and 3 assists in an 18-8 win over Dubuque Saturday. And Chad Coleman is a semi-ridiculous 29 of 35 from the faceoff dot thus far on the season. The Firebirds have plenty of firepower, including Johnson. And this looks like a mismatch on paper, but lacrosse isn't played on paper. It's played on field turf with pads, sticks, helmets, and a heck of a lot of physicality. Let's see if the Firebirds have it in them tonight to take care of the boys from Madison along the shores of Lake Michigan here at Carthage College this evening. From Art Keller Field on the campus of Carthage College, it's time for Carthage Lacrosse. Good evening, everyone. Dan Pfeiffer with you tonight, looking westward from atop the main grandstand here at Keller Field as the 3-0 Carthage Firebirds look to remain unbeaten on the season against the Edgewood Eagles out of the NAC and the Madison area, who enter this contest at 0-1 on this very young 2025 lacrosse season. I mentioned Johnson, and you saw him a moment ago. He has 9 goals and 8 assists on the year thus far. That puts him second on the team in points behind Gurn, who has 18 points on the year, as part of a Carthage attack that is expected to try and keep this Carthage team competitive in the CCIW. And you'll see the CCIW preseason poll pop on your screen momentarily. The Firebirds were picked third by the coaches in a tie with North Central in that poll. Of course, everyone's still chasing Illinois Wesleyan, who got all 5 first-place votes that they could get to get that 25-point total atop that poll. But the Carthage Firebirds have come out strong here at the start of the non-conference season, and they want to continue that strength into the CCIW portion of their schedule once they get there, and they can try and do that with a victory over Edgewood tonight. Hey, quick look at the starting lineups for you here as well. First, for the Firebirds on the attack, it'll be Andrew Johnson, Jacob Cameron, and Alec Gurn. Jake Westland, Ben Kroc, and Andrew Fry will make up your midfielders. Sam Wallace will carry a long pole. You'll see him in the midfield quite a bit. He's generally kind of an LSM. He will be joined with the long poles by George Moorbroughton and Josh Flores. Jake Williamson will be in goal for the Firebirds, at least to start this game tonight. Over on the other side for the Eagles on the attack, it'll be Zach Thomas, Lake Rui, and Tyler Stockwell. Maddox Tashinsky, Trent Hogendorf, and Sean Callan will make up your midfield, with Callan heading to the dot to start the night. It'll be Ryan Hanrahan, Cameron Hostetler, and Andrew Stitch as your long poles to begin the evening, and Nick Cruz will be the man between the pipes for the Eagles to start things out tonight. A little bit of drizzle on the way down here to Kenosha this evening for both Madison Edgewood and everyone who is coming out to the game. Can't necessarily see too many folks in the stands across from us here, but there are a healthy number of folks considering the conditions and the weeknight start for this game that are seated in front of us here at Carthage, and they are excited to watch the 4th game of the season again for the Carthage Firebirds. Quick look at the weather for tonight. It is 39 degrees right now. They are not showing any precip, but it does look like there's some drizzle falling from beneath the lights here at Art Keller Field, so it may create some slick conditions at times this evening. But we are not expected to see weather be much of a factor, beyond the fact that you see some mountains of snow beyond the back of the football end zones at both ends of Art Keller Field. We will take pause now for the national anthem. Little musical interlude first here, but we will pick up the PA feed momentarily.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to Art Keller Field for today's game between the Edgewood College Eagles and your Carthage College Firebirds. Let's meet today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Eagles, At attack, number 0, Zach Thomas. At attack, number 1, Lake Rui. On defense, number 6, Ryan Hanaran. At attack, number 7, Tyler Stockwell. At midfield, number 11, Maddox Tashinsky. At long stick mid, number 14, Trent Hagendorf. At defense, number 21, Cameron Hosteller. On defense, number 32, Andrew Stitch. At faceoff, number 99, Sean Callan. And in goal, wearing number 20, Nick Cruz. The head coach of Edgewood is Garrett Wolford, and he is assisted by Avery Boogie and Jackie Oon. And now, your starting lineup for your Carthage College Firebirds. At attack, number 1, Andrew Johnson. At long stick mid, number 8, Sam Wallace. At midfield, number 20, Jacob Cameron. At midfield, number 22, Jake Westland. On defense, number 26, George Mobratton. At midfield, number 30, Ben Kroc. At defense, number 32, Josh Flores. On attack, number 40, Alec Gurn. At midfield, number 45, Andrew Fry. And in goal, wearing number 25, Jake Williamson. The head coach of Carthage is David Neff, and he is assisted by Noah Linder. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Star-Spangled Banner here at Art Keller Field with a little bonus of the starting lineups and the introductions is the light flash. And we get ready for Carthage Lacrosse to get underway here at Keller Field. Mention the weather conditions. Again, shouldn't be much of a factor compared to what you sometimes get at this time of year, late February in the state of Wisconsin. These are about as ideal of conditions as you can get throughout the Midwest. It has been something that maybe has even held back lacrosse a little in terms of some of its growth. The weather that we get in these parts around this time of year. Of course, a number of programs nowadays investing in a bubble to make lacrosse happen. At the D1 level, you see it quite a bit now, although not at every program. I do some work with Marquette University's programs, the Division I program here in the state of Wisconsin, and what you see every once in a while when you watch clips of Marquette going on the road, such as their women's team at Central Michigan a couple of weeks ago, is lacrosse with perhaps neon yellow or orange balls that is being played in a blizzard like Marquette played in against Central Michigan. But Marquette got the win in that one, and certainly compared to those conditions, a little bit of drizzle and the temperatures being above freezing will not bother anyone tonight. Final instructions from the officials. The goalies will come together. Tap gloves, A final handshake, and we'll see the Fogos head to the dot to get things underway here in this one. It will be Sean Callan who will start things out at the dot for Edgewood, and he will go up against Chad Coleman. We've mentioned that Coleman has been a part of 35 faceoffs on the season thus far. He has only lost 6. Trevor Baptiste-like numbers, if you are familiar with the former Denver star, who was one of the best in history when he was there, and is still getting the job done in indoor lacrosse now as a professional. Unsurprisingly, Coleman does win the opening faceoff, and we are underway here at Keller Field. Firebirds with possession early. From the back, it's Jake Westland. I'll bring it forward a little bit. Gives it back up. Ben Kroc fires, shot and save. So a good start for the Eagles as Nick Cruz is able to shut down the first attack for the Firebirds. Let's see if the Edgewood Eagles can convert on the clear, and they do. The Eagles may be trying to make a statement at the start of this one, again after they lost that opening game against Calvin by an 18-2 final. Didn't get a goal until it was 16-0 in the third quarter. They'll try and improve on that performance tonight against the Firebirds, as you see Lake Rui on the near side. Eagles will work it counterclockwise. Coming forward for a moment is James Borgart. Sends it back. Shot on. Knocked up into the air by the Carthage goalie, Jake Williamson. Ground ball won by the Firebirds, and they'll work in transition. Coming up quickly is Mo Broughton. They'll send it over to the far side, and the Firebirds will start the attack from there. Following the successful clear, working his way back, Jacob Cameron. Firebirds from the point. Brandon Sawicki. 3 shots on the season, but no goals yet for him. Far side. Johnson with it. Looking for an angle of attack. Trying to find a dodge. Good defense. Plenty of time still on the shot clock for the Firebirds. Ball's on the ground. Picked up once, then twice by the Eagles. And they are holding the Firebirds off the scoreboard early on in this one. Clear is successful. To the top, shot and a goal! Zach Thomas with the first goal of the game, and how about that for flipping the script? Eagles 1, Firebirds 0. Again, the Eagles only scored 2 goals in that opening game. Rui had 1, Nick Orozco had the other, but this time it's Zach Thomas who had 3 shots in the opener against Calvin, putting the Eagles on the board first. It's 1-0. Edgewood makes a statement early on. Face-off won by the Firebirds, though. Ground ball picked up by Rocco Paddock. And if anything, that may just motivate the Firebirds to get on the scoreboard quickly. See the replay of the goal in the upper right-hand corner of your screen here. Just a little too much speed. From the right shoulder, goes bottom shelf and it goes in. Trying to go top shelf is Johnson, but that's a save for Cruz. Eagles get it back. They'll try and come back the other way. Ryan Hanrahan, forward to Maddox Tashinsky. He's a sophomore out of Round Lake, Illinois. Brings it forward. Clear is successful for the Eagles. Borgart. Over to the far side. That is Tyler Stockwell. Back to Borgart. To the near side and Tashinsky. Short stick midfielders being put to the test early for the Firebirds. Some confusion in front of the goal. Williamson got run into by his long pole, Wallace. Shot is off target, but that shot on and wide. They'll say he went into the crease. Indeed, he very much did get inside the circle. Went for the dive, and it only works if the ball goes in. Possession goes to the Firebirds. Quickly up the field, Ben Kroc. Trying to catch the Eagles out of sort in transition are the Firebirds. They do recover. Nothing there for Kroc. Firebirds will set their personnel. Westland holds on to it. Gives it up. Kroc. To the near side and Johnson. First goal of the game went to the Eagles. That's why it's 1-0. We are about 5 minutes in. Coming around a screen, it's Johnson. He'll send it back. Little pick and roll action, and it works for the Firebirds. Andrew Fry! And we are equal at 1 with 10:02 remaining in the first. Fry's 10th goal of the season, and the Firebirds equalize at 1-1. Fry goes 5-hole and gets it to go for the Firebirds. And that'll tie this one right back up. Nothing complicated about that. Toughest ball for a Lacrosse goalie to try and save. And Cruz couldn't get to it. It'll be Workman over the top of this face-off for the Firebirds. He was 25 of 38 coming into tonight from the dot. Quick swat, and it might work out for him. Indeed it does. Firebird bench is happy with the effort on the part of Workman, as he's able to knock it away at the last moment, and the Firebirds win that faceoff. Replay of the goal. Johnson will get the assist. Right through the wickets. That's good in croquet, and it's good in lacrosse, too. 1-1 your score. That'll be a shot and a save. Scrap for the ground ball in front of the goal. No one gets control. Firebirds have to keep it from going over the midfield stripe, but they do get it back, and they'll get a fresh 60. To the near side, Johnson. Back over to the far side, Kroc. From X. Turnaround shot, not there. This is going to be a dangerous situation here, and yep, the one that's closest is Cruz. It'll be Eagles' ball. Firebirds took the shot coming off of X, which meant that they had no one behind the goal, which means they had no one closest to the ball. And after a shot, it is the team that has personnel closest to the ball that gets possession, which means that the Eagles are the ones who get that ball, as it was Cruz, the goalie, was able to run over, but the clear is unsuccessful for the Eagles. Off the turnover, Firebirds. Near side, pass from Johnson to Gurn, a little too high. Gurn coming back towards the goal. Goalie comes out, tries to check Gurn, and it doesn't work out for him. Goal, Carthage! Cruz knew that Gurn had a one-on-one with him. He decided to leave the crease and challenge him with some physicality. But Alec Gurn was unfazed, and with the empty net in front of him, he cashes in. 2-1 Carthage, first lead of the night for the Firebirds. Goal comes 6 minutes and 32 seconds into this contest. Edgewood did get the first goal of the game. The Firebirds have answered back. A lot of pushing and shoving around the dot. Once again, it is Workman. We're going to get a flag for a push in the back, and that is going to go against the Eagles. First DMO for the Firebirds tonight, as we will likely get a 30-second technical call here against Edgewood. Indeed, they will call the 30-second technical for a push against Alec Maurer. He'll take a seat on the near side. Firebirds will take possession, and they'll go a man up. On the season, the Firebirds 10 of 14 on the EMO. Last year, Edgewood allowed goals 28% of the time when opponents had the extra man. Firebirds with 30 seconds up a man. Over to the near side, that doesn't help you out much when you can't connect on the passes. 15 seconds left in the foul. At the point, it's Kroc. To the near side, Johnson. In front of the goal, a couple fakes, a shot, and they capitalize. On the EMO, it's Jacob Cameron. 6th goal of the season for him. Also his 3rd goal on the EMO. And the Firebirds are now up 3-1. 11th EMO goal of the year for the Firebirds. The goal went on the scoreboard for the wrong team, so we'll get that fixed with 7:51 remaining in the first quarter. But Carthage has the lead now 3-1, despite what you see on the graphic, and it is also showing as 2-2 on the scoreboard as well. Face-off violation. Edgewood takes possession accordingly. On the far side, it's Zach Thomas. He has the lone goal thus far for the Eagles. We'll send it back to Lake Rui. Eagles have not had possession for a while here. Really, since the goal. There was an unsuccessful clear, at least possession on the attack for the Eagles. Now they'll try and work things around and see if they can put a shot on Jake Williamson. Firebird defense hasn't had to do much work thus far tonight, but they've looked a little out of sorts at times when the Eagles have had possession. Ball slips away for a moment. From, I believe that is Luke Quackenbush. Indeed, that is the name that is on the roster. He is listed as a goalie. Certainly not wearing the goalie pads and outfit right now out there in the midfield. Trying to go low the Firebirds. A shot, Ryan Tolbert, that bounces up and over the goal. It does not reset the shot clock. Second shot, also not there. Taken away by Carthage. And now they'll work on the clear. Going in the wrong direction is Josh Flores. They'll send it over to the other side. 10 seconds for the Firebirds to get it across. But now they do. And they'll settle in for the attack. Landon Baki on the far side. Sends it back towards the middle. And Brandon Sawicki. Sawicki lets things set. Sends it over to the near side. On the near side, it's Andrew Johnson. Taking it up to the point. Angelo Cullen out there wearing number 00 for the Firebirds. Pass goes off the stick of Sawicki. He's able to regather it in his pocket, though. Back to the near side, 23 on the shot clock for the Firebirds. Couple taps of the stick. Back up to the top. Cameron gives it up. Johnson, near side, goes to the dodge. Leaping, attempted shot, it's blocked. Ball is on the ground. Time was running out for the Firebirds anyhow. But the Eagles do get possession. Ball is lost on the clear, though. Out of bounds, and it'll be Firebirds' possession. Another failed clear for the Eagles. They were just 14 of 27 on the clear in that game against Calvin that they lost 18-2. To give you an idea, last season, they cleared the ball successfully 77% of the time. 14 of 27 is just over 50%. Near side, Kroc thought about it. Shot on from Johnson instead. It'll go out, but the Firebirds will maintain possession. 3-1 your score. We're about 10 minutes into the contest. Good to have you on board here on the Firebirds Broadcast Network. Johnson Laser beam, but that goes wide. I like to call those two-seamers. Use the baseball pitch notation there with that little tail to the right. Tailed a little too much for him. And with it being wide, that does not reset the shot timer. Johnson gets it back, though. Using his speed, he goes over to the far side. Croc goes over the top of the goal, and it will be a goal as Andrew Fry is there to take the pass and go top shelf where Grandma keeps the cookies. 4-1 Carthage. And it's a 4-goal run for the Firebirds. Great pass, great goal. Indeed, the Eagles did get the first statement of the game, but since then, it's been the Firebirds doing all the talking. 4-1 now your score. Again, we're seeing a little bit more of Workman from the faceoff dot thus far. Doesn't win that one, though. It's picked up by the Eagles. It's Trent Hagendorf who gets the ground ball. Nick Orozco, one of the two Eagles who scored in that game against Calvin. We'll get a timeout taken here by Edgewood. And we will take timeout as well. The Eagles did get the first goal of the game, but since then it has been all Carthage. 4-1 with 3:46 remaining in the first. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. Back with you on this Firebirds broadcast production. Dan Pfeiffer on board this evening from high atop Art Keller Field, where again the Edgewood Eagles did get the first goal of the game. It was Zach Thomas who got it for the Eagles with 12:21 remaining in the first quarter, but since then the Carthage Firebirds have answered back with 4 straight goals, including that one you saw during the break where Ben Croc found Andrew Fry, and Fry found the back of the net subsequently to make it 4-1 in favor of the Firebirds. Eagles with possession, though, out of their first time out of this first half. And they will work it around with possession, trying to stop this 4-goal Carthage run. Far side of the field, that's Tashinsky with the dodge. Ball kind of slips out of his stick, and it's picked up by Williamson for the Firebirds. Firebirds go on the clear. It's successful. Oh, and then a big push on the part of James Borgart. But all it does is knock Rocco Paddock to the ground, but he keeps possession, and the Firebirds are eventually able to settle into the attack. Good physical play out of the Eagles. You can do that when you're head-on with a player here in Lacrosse. You can't come from the side, but in an instance like that, yeah, if he's going to run into you, you have the right to protect yourself, and that's the case there. You see some more physical play here out of Nick Orozco, the midfielder for the Eagles. Trying to play some defense. Shot. Big hit after the fact, and we'll see a flag as Alex Gurn goes to the ground. And this will be the second EMO of the night for the Firebirds. The only question is how much time this is going to be for this likely cross-check call. They're actually going to say contact to the head. It is Nick Orozco who gets called for it, trying to send a message to Gurn. but they will award the 1 minute foul. Although we'll see how much time the Firebirds need, as good as they have been on the EMO thus far this season. Now 11 of 15 on the year after converting on their first opportunity earlier in the quarter. Not only have the Firebirds been good on the EMO, opponents have not yet scored against the Firebirds this season. When they have been a man down, they are 0 for 9. Special teams, a specialty of David Neff's teams. Pass across the crossbar to the near side, Johnson. Still plenty of time in the penalty, 35 seconds on that timer. A little over 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. Firebirds find the open man, but the shot gets knocked wide. They will say that was saved by Cruz. Fresh 60 for the Firebirds. They've got about 20 seconds remaining in the foul. Back over to the near side. Kroc, shot. That's too high. Again, they'll say that Cruz got a piece of that one, so again, the Firebirds get a fresh 60. Only 12 seconds remaining in the foul, though, although now we're going to get some discussion among the officials, and I think the question is going to be, should the timer have been reset or not? We will see the official come back over to the near side, and he will say, yes, please reset the timer to 51 seconds, as there was no contact made by Cruz, and that's good discussion among our officiating crew. Appreciate them always. Time running out in the EMO for the Firebirds. Johnson takes a couple steps. Penalty is over. And the Firebirds will not convert on this extra man opportunity. Although they will maintain possession. At this point, though, it would be an even strength goal. Kroc to the far side. Back over to the near side. Johnson, been talking about him all night long. 13 on the shot clock now for the Firebirds. Fry. Front of the net. That'll be a goal. Fry finds Jacob Cameron. And Cameron converts to make it 5-1 in favor of the Firebirds and 5 straight goals for Carthage. Maybe a little slow start for the Firebirds, but they have come on in recent times. And they now have the 4-goal lead. Let my Cameron go. It's his second goal of the night. 7 now on the season for him. And the Firebirds' lead, again, is now 4. And it's another face-off win for Chad Coleman. Do the Firebirds have one more in them here in this first quarter? Oh, that's a pass over the top of Landon Bakke. Jake Williamson's going to want that one back. Turnover by the Firebirds. Eagles get possession. Edgewood got the first goal of the game. They're going to try and get the last goal of the first quarter here with 40 seconds remaining. Again, working it counterclockwise, James Borgart. Now they'll reverse the direction. Far side, Ryan Tolbert. Tolbert on the dodge. Spin move, comes back the other way. Fancy footwork. Looking at X. Nice pass, and it's a goal. That's Lake Rui with his second goal of the season. Outstanding ball movement by Edgewood, and the Eagles get their second of the night. They finally stop the run for the Firebirds. It's 5-2. Started with the turnover by Williamson, and Firebirds maybe just relaxed a little bit there in the final minute of the quarter. Still time for one more face-off win, though. Let's see if Coleman can get it. Indeed he does. Firebirds have to work quickly if they want to even get a shot off here. Over the top from Thomas. In front of the goal. Contact made. Shot deflected. And time has run out in the first quarter. The Firebirds give up the first goal of the quarter and the last goal, but in between, they score 5. And after 1, it's Carthage 5, Edgewood 2. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. 5-2 your score here at Art Keller Field after 1 quarter of play in this non-conference men's lacrosse tilt, the 2025 NCAA men's lacrosse season. One rule change this year, there is no more 3 face-off violation technical foul. The only part of the rule is if you commit a violation, you cannot then be a part of the following face-off. Speaking of face-offs, we'll have one to start the second quarter. It is Workman back out there for the Firebirds. He will go up against Sean Callan, who came into tonight 7 for 19 on the face-off, winning about 36.8% of the time. He wins this one, though. Eagles get the ball to start the second quarter. Trying to see if there are any notable changes here for the Firebirds. We will catch you up on that if we see if there's anyone different. Still looks like Williamson in goal. Get a confirmation on that, though. A little more difficult to see the Firebirds numbers than the giant ones that are on the back of the Edgewood Eagles. If only every team could put numbers on their jerseys in every single sport like the Edgewood Eagles do, a lot more play-by-play announcers would be out there in the world, I'll tell you that. Tashinsky to X. Spin move from there for Rui. Gets knocked from behind. Rui does get it. Puts a shot on, but it is saved by Williamson. Williamson sends it out to the outside, and the Firebirds will work on clearing this. A lot of hustle. It's tough sometimes for those long poles, especially when they are being marked. But the Firebirds do execute the clear successfully. Trying to send a pass in front of the goal. Cameron, through the trees, does not find its target. In fact, it just goes out of bounds, and the ball will go back to the Eagles. Cameron maybe should have been a little more selfish there. Tried to go on the dodge and just taking it to net himself. Being a little too friendly to his teammate Alec Gurn, and ends up paying the price. Eagles with possession now, far side, Stockwell. Thomas back there as well. He's got it at the moment at X. Now the Eagles will work it back around. Looking to his right is Borgart, then sending it to his left. That's where Tashinsky is. Eagles to the near side. We've seen them move it around pretty good on the offensive side thus far. It's just been stopping that Firebirds attack that's been a bit of a struggle. Also putting the ball on frame, that's Tashinsky trying to go to the ground and put a bouncer in the net, but it ends up bouncing over the goal. No reset of the timer, it'll be at 30 seconds, however the Eagles will maintain possession. Thomas spinning around, coming to the front of the nets. Well defended. Now 20 on the timer. Far side, Borgard. Tries to put a shot on. Eagles will maintain possession as they win the chase. Stockwell from the near side. Ball is whistled in. Stockwell thought about doing it solo. Sends it back towards the top. Borgard loses it for a second. One on the timer. And time runs out on the Eagles. It'll be a shot timer violation. And we will get a flag for delay of game after the fact. As Thomas, after the whistle had blown, proceeds to do something you can do when there is still time on the timer and the ball is still in play by just kind of throwing the ball into the distance. But when you do it after the clock stops, that's a technical. So indeed, Thomas does get the 30-second foul. I think that technically goes in the book as unsportsmanlike conduct. We'll check on that, but however it is recorded, it's the Firebirds on the EMO where they are 1 of 2 on the night thus far. Little fake to the right, pass to the left. Alec Gurn having some trouble finding the ball tonight. And indeed, he will lose it. It is picked up, the ground ball claimed by Ryan Hanrahan. Although the ball is knocked out of his stick, it's controlled by Cameron Hostetler. Foul ends. That's another kill for the Eagles. They have held the Firebirds to 1 of 3 on the EMO thus far tonight. Fake pass on the part of Zach Thomas. Flips the stick around, hands it off to Quackenbush. Goes back to Thomas. Quackenbush will come off. Thomas now holding onto it and resetting things with the new personnel for the Eagles. Near side Tuschinski. Back over to Brady Hunn. Hunn had a shot. He's out of Waukesha. Losing his stick is Zach Thomas. And you are not allowed to maintain possession if you cannot hold on to your stick. The ball goes to the Firebirds. Nothing good happens when you're not holding your stick in lacrosse. Long pass, and it is good to Jake Westland. Clear is successful for the Firebirds, and they get a goal out of it. Jacob Cameron from Westland. And in a hurry, the Firebirds get back on the board at 6-2. Give Cameron the Hattie. Goal number 3 for him. But give the assist to Westland as the Firebirds get down Art Keller Field quickly and make it 6-2. That's how you do it, folks. That's a highlight reel goal. And start getting your socks ready if Jacob Cameron keeps going the way he has thus far in this contest. Battle for the face-off, won by the Firebirds. Yet another face-off win for Chad Coleman. Firebirds bring it forward. Cameron already with the hat trick. You know he's thinking about 4. Loses the ball, though. We're going to get a whistle and a flag, and that's going to stop this possession as Cameron took a hit after the fact, and maybe the Eagles are starting to show some frustration now. There's a lot of ways you can make contact in lacrosse, but not many ways when a player doesn't have the ball. And if you hit a guy late after he distributes the ball, you will almost certainly end up in the box. We will wait here as Carthage takes a timeout to see what exactly the penalty call will be. Once we get a handle on that, we will toss it to break, but have not yet seen an indication. Nothing on the scoreboard yet either, and there are 2 officials still talking about what the call was. Did see the flag go out. So I think the question is it a cross-check? Is it interference? There's a lot of different ways you can call that one, but it's got to be something. with the timeout. No one in the box just yet. So we will keep it here during break. Again, 6-2 Carthage with the lead on Edgewood. Goals thus far in the contest for Carthage. We did mention that Cameron does now have the hat trick. Fry has 2 goals. Gurn has 1. Fry also has an assist in the contest. Johnson has 2 assists. Talked about the assist on the last goal from Westland. And there you see the contact. Not only was it after the ball left, but it was in the back and arguably in the back of the head. There's a lot of different ways that's dangerous. Now, we do see Ryan Hanrahan already taking a knee in the box. He knows that the call will be on him. But there is still discussion going on among the officials as to what the full call will be. Now we're going to get the indication. There was a point in both directions there, but it looked like it would be a 1-minute foul. Called for unnecessary roughness, and that is a valid call. So we'll set things back up here, and indeed, it will be another EMO for the Firebirds, although, because it came after the fact, it will still be Edgewood possession, and that's what the indication was at the end of that. Okay, so now we have clarification, because it was Edgewood possession when the foul occurred, so they will just try and maintain possession as much as they can through this foul, and in a way, that kind of works out for them. Carthage maybe will consider forcing the issue, and now you do see short stick midfielder Britton Stanton stepping up. Long pole Jackson Schultz on the far side. Round and round, twisted to the ground. Nick Orozco. Firebirds get possession, and they will have a brief opportunity, a man up on the attack. See if they can take advantage. Far side, in front of the goal, shot on and in! Alec Kern, goal number 2 of the game. Also his 4th man-up goal of the year. And it's now 7-2 in favor of the Firebirds. Firebirds didn't start that EMO with possession, but they still took advantage. They are now 2 of 4 on the EMO on the evening, and it's 7-2 in favor of Carthage. Gurn, that big body. Really, Johnson could have taken that shot, and he had an open opportunity at the goal. Instead, he dished it off. Gurn was the one with the finish. Chad Coleman wins the face-off after the Carthage goal. That's nothing new. Firebirds with possession again. Gurn, he's out of Barrington, Illinois. Graduate student for the Firebirds. Talk about guys who have had success for the Firebirds and have gone on to do graduate work. Give a shout out to assistant coach Noah Linder. Played 3 outstanding seasons here at Carthage, then went and did his graduate work up at Marquette. Came back, and he is now an assistant coach once again for the Firebirds down there for Carthage. A tradition of graduate student success here at Carthage. Of course, with very different rules now for NCAA student athletes. Also, we are still in the age where some of these student athletes got an extra year due to the COVID season, so a number of these guys, you're seeing them out there 5-6 years, and even with the ever-changing rules of the NCAA, it may even be more than that at some point. Shot goes wide for the Firebirds. Get possession back, though. 13 on the timer. Gurn, near side. Trying to lose his man, can't do it. Good work by Ryan Hanrahan. Leaping shot. Save made by Cruz. Shot was on frame. However, the Eagles send the ball down the field. It was a directionless pass that was picked up by Angelo Cullen. Call it a failed clear for Edgewood. And Carthage gets it back with a fresh 80. Not sure what the stoppage was there, but Carthage does maintain possession. Might have just been a quick equipment issue. Firebirds do get a fresh 80, though. Little dodge action for Cullen. Turnaround shot saved by Nick Cruz. Eagles will go on the clear, or at least they will momentarily go on the clear, and that's kind of been the problem for the Eagles all night long. Alec Maurer can't hold on to his stick. Fight for the ground ball. It's going to go out of bounds. Looked like it was laughed off Edgewood, and indeed, Carthage gets possession. Before we continue, though, we'll have a timeout, believe taken by Carthage here. We will check on that. But with this timeout, we will take pause as well. 7:24 remaining in the second quarter. Carthage 7, Edgewood 2. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. Timeout was taken during the stoppage of play by the Eagles, so they have no more timeouts remaining in the first half. Carthage still has one. They also have the lead right now, 7-2, and have possession, as we'll restart things from the near side wing with Jake Westland as soon as the officials get the correct indication. Wonder if they're discussing just who took the timeout there. Scoreboards have been known to have errant information before. It's entirely possible the incorrect information was communicated up to the box. Nonetheless, Westland, far side, Johnson, shot! Side of the goal, no. They call those mob goals in lacrosse. First-timers to the game sometimes get victimized by those shots and think that they went in because they see the net tickle. However, the ball has to go on the inside of the net, not the outside. Once again, it's just a struggle sometimes for the Eagles to keep possession, and this time the ball goes back towards the midfield line. Able to knock it back over the midfield line is George Mobrotten. And Carthage does get possession back. Kind of interesting there, Ryan Tolbert, as he was coming off, looked like he almost ran in front of the Firebirds and took the ball away by accident. Nonetheless, Firebirds maintain possession. Heck of a shot by Ben Kroc. Goes just wide of the mark, but he had some mustard behind that one. Far side for the Firebirds, it's Alec Gurn. Gurn still holding on to it, trying to see if he can execute a dodge on Hanrahan. He'll give it up. Westland to the front of the goal. Johnson goes off his stick. Firebirds have time to chase it down. Still plenty of time on the shot timer, 36 seconds. Coming forward is Kroc. To the near side, Westland. Sidearm shot. Goes wide of the mark. Firebirds maintain possession. From X. Cameron already with the hat trick on the night, although that pass goes well wide of the mark. At best, it will be a midfield line violation for the Firebirds. That is what the call ends up being, and the Eagles get possession. Got to keep it on your half, and the Firebirds did not with that errant pass. It's a turnover. Eagles get it back. Near side, Tolbert finds James Borgart. Further to the near side, it's Stockwell. Over the top of the ducking official. Thomas will send it to the far side, and Rui. All 6 of the Eagles on the attack here, getting a touch on the ball on this possession. Working the dodge, Borgart gets around one man, he'll put it on, and it's in! Borgart even takes a hit at the end of it from Rocco Paddock, but he gets the finish. Helmet flies off, but he's a happy man as he gets the Eagles their 3rd goal of the night. Heck of a move, heck of a shot. All credit to the junior midfielder out of Gilbert's, Illinois. He cuts into the Carthage lead. It's now 7-3. That's what I love to talk about with lacrosse. You can't help but acknowledge some of the great play you see going both directions, as we'll get a face-off violation on the part of the Eagles. Sean Callan. Looked like there might have been a trip there. Firebirds get possession. To the near side, Andrew Fry coming on to the field. Looks to the near side. Can't find anyone. Decides to put a shot on, and it's in! From 18 yards out, the laser beam finds the bottom of the goal, and it's 8-3. Andrew Fry. Flick of the wrist. Fry now has a hat trick as well, joining Cameron. And it is the Firebirds back on the board, 8-3. Fry now with 12 goals on the season. That one was sheer force. Looked to the near side for a pass. Didn't see a player available and said, you know what? I'm just going to handle business on my own. Pretty looking goal. Coming forward, Ben Thomas with the long stick. Making his way around the LSM. Trying to make himself available in the middle after he gives it up. However, the ball pops out of the stick of Rocco Paddock as you once again see that Fry goal. And look at the big windup that he took. Rain's starting to fall a little harder here at Art Keller Field. You can see the droplets when you look at the lights in the background. Get a reset of the shot clock. Possession changes hands. There's a good shot of the precipitation. We'll see how that impacts the footing in this contest, although I'll tell you, this turf here at Art Keller Field has been outstanding for a number of different sports for Carthage College. All credit to the grounds crew here for the work that they do, and that's a pass that is a little too high. That's a mental error on the part of Nick Orozco, the senior attackman out of Northfield, Minnesota. Firebirds get possession back. Coming straight forward, unmarked, Sam Wallace. Led the team in ground ball collections coming into the evening with 20. Firebirds execute the clear successfully. Johnson will start the attack process for Carthage. as they hustle on the personnel that they want, including Andrew Fry, again out there already with 3 goals. Around the corner, around the country, Andrew Johnson, pass back, shot on and in. Give it to Jake Westland. We have seen Westland on the assist thus far tonight. Now he's got a goal for himself, and it's 9-3 Carthage. We did say that on paper, coming into this matchup, the Firebirds were the better team. When Edgewood scored the first goal of the game, maybe it put a little scare into Carthage. But for the most part, Firebirds have been taking care of business tonight. Round ball picked up by Johnson off the face-off. And it's funny too, out there with the long pole, Jackson Schultz, another LSM for the Firebirds. And those LSMs absolutely love being a part of that chaos after the face-off because they want to get that opportunity to take that shot on goal that sometimes they don't always get the chance to get in the normal flow of the attack, as we get a shot on the part of Fry, but that is saved. Fry also with 3 goals on the night thus far. LSMs particularly, we talk about LSMs. Hey, what about when the long poles from the back get the ball and they get to run up into the attack? Had a chance at Marquette University to see the great Mason Woodward. Outstanding defensive player for the Marquette Golden Eagles for his time at Marquette. Every once in a while when he would come forward, I'll even go all the way back to Liam Burns, now playing at the highest levels of lacrosse nationally. You knew when they came forward, usually there was a little bit of a roar that came out of the folks on the field as we get a timeout, and this will be taken by Carthage. So just to make it clear, that does make it obvious that the last timeout was taken out by Edgewood. So this one is taken by David Neff. And the Firebirds will talk things over with 1:49 remaining in the second quarter. We'll continue talking about pole goals when we come back from this break. It is 9-3 in favor of the Firebirds, and this is Firebirds Lacrosse. As we continue our discussion of pole goals with Carthage up 9-3 on Edgewood. An exciting moment when you see one, and you see one once every few games or so. Occasionally you'll even see a couple in a game. It depends on the skills of the guys you have with the long poles that are out there, and with a couple LSMs out there for Carthage, you'll see a few more than perhaps you would in a normal year for this Firebirds team this season. None yet tonight, but again, there was a moment there where you kind of saw everybody's eyes light up. Of course, 3 goals already in the contest for both Cameron and Fry. And the Firebirds have possession here with 1:49 remaining in the second quarter. They do have a full 80 on the shot timer. However, they can use that full 80 seconds and there would still be 29 seconds remaining on the game clock with where we are at in the second period. Far side, Johnson executes a pass back to Fry. Over to the near side, Kroc. Further to the near side in Westland. Back to Kroc. Kroc on the dodge. Into the middle. Dangerous pass. Was looking for Fry. Fry was well covered. And all the Firebirds can do is watch the ball go out of bounds off them. That's turnover. Edgewood gets the ball back. They can probably take the last shot of the second quarter if they can hold on to it, although that has been a bit of a struggle for the Eagles on the evening On the clear tonight, Edgewood 6 of 8. According to the official numbers, feels like they have had more chances where they have not been able to execute them. They do execute it successfully here. And now we see the tenths of a second appear on the game clock as the time ticks under 1 minute. Rain coming down here in Kenosha. But with the moisture, it has been Carthage trying to pour on the goals. Edgewood looking for one more before the half, though. Near the midfield stripe, Tushinsky. Near side, Tolbert. Working around, shot on. Saved by Williamson. It came off of the stick of Zach Thomas. Over the top, 5 seconds remaining. Big push from behind. Surprised to not see a flag on that one. And we do see the flag well after the fact. David Neff basically went onto the field and said, why was there no flag there? And we'll get a penalty to start the third quarter against Edgewood. The official on the far side, maybe it's the rain, maybe the flag slipped out of his hands, maybe just had to think about it, not sure exactly why. It took him so long to throw that flag for that very obvious push from behind. We do have the technical call, no indication on the number. We'll watch back the replay to get that. It is halftime here at Art Keller Field. It's the Carthage Firebirds up 9-3 at the half, and they will have the EMO to start the second half after that foul to end the second quarter. And we'll see it here coming up in just a very obvious shove from behind from Ryan Tolbert, freshman midfielder from Antioch, Illinois. And that is a freshman mistake if there ever was one. Even a little bit of contact after the halftime whistle blew, but that is not what the foul is for. It was indicated as a 30-second technical for the push from behind, so the Firebirds will start the third quarter a man up. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have some halftime statistics for you, and we'll tell you more about what to expect in the second half of this contest between Carthage and Edgewood, where it is the Firebirds with a 9-3 lead at recess. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. mentioned the rain here at Art Keller Field as we are at halftime in this game between the Carthage Firebirds and the Edgewood Eagles, with Carthage up on Edgewood at the half, 9-3. Before we talk about the conditions, let's keep things inside and talk about what's coming up on Carthage.edu in terms of some broadcast pieces. The CCIW Indoor Track and Field Championships coming up on the very last day of the month. That would be Friday, February 28th. That'll start at 2 o'clock. Look for that on live.carthage.edu. You'll also get some water polo action as we head into the pool with Carthage taking on McAllister. And then also the CCIW Men's Basketball Semifinals. First up, it'll be Illinois Wesleyan taking on Augustana. And then the top-seeded Carthage Firebirds taking on North Central. The following day, the first day of March, we'll see if it comes in like a lamb or a lion, but we will continue with those indoor track and field championships. Men's lacrosse will be taking on Calvin that day at 1 o'clock. I will be back on that broadcast with you for that contest. Of course, that's the same Calvin Knights team that took down Edgewood in their first game. The Eagles falling to Calvin 18-2, so that should be an outstanding contest here at Art Keller Field. And then, of course, we'll have the CCIW championship game on the men's basketball side. That will start up at 7:30. So yes, in that first half, the Carthage Firebirds scoring 9 goals despite the fact that the Edgewood Eagles got the first goal of the game. 25 shots for Carthage compared to 12 for Edgewood in that first half. Also 21 ground balls won by Carthage. And right now it's just the Firebirds working harder, it seems like, than the Eagles. 11 of 11 on the clear as well, whereas the Eagles have failed on 2 clears thus far. 9 turnovers for Edgewood thus far in the contest, 6 for the Firebirds. Talk about some of the individual numbers as well. Mentioned that Andrew Johnson came into this one as the CCIW Offensive Player of the Week. He does not have a goal in this contest, but he does have 4 shots, and he also has 3 assists. Hat tricks already for Jacob Cameron with 3, and Andrew Fry, who has 3 goals and also 1 assist thus far. He has 4 points in the contest. That leads everyone out on the field at the moment. Andrew Fry thus far doing a little bit of everything, working on the pass, working on the shot, and it's just working for him this evening. Goals in the contest for Edgewood: Zach Thomas has 1, Lake Rui has 1, and Wyatt Hebel has 1. Again, as the conditions somewhat deteriorate here at Carthage, we're seeing that rain just starting to pour down beneath the lights here. You're probably going to see teams settle into the attack a little bit more, knowing that it might be a little bit tougher to keep possession of the ball and also keep your footing out here. And we mentioned that thus far we haven't seen any issues, but even the best of turfs can end up getting a little bit slick, and you see all that rubber that gets picked up in some of the snow piles. Can't see it right now. It's at the ends of the field, but when the camera does pan over there, when you see either team with possession, that's what the makeup of these turf fields is. It's those rubber pellets beneath the green turf, and with the snow having to have been cleared off of the field here, even with some of the warm conditions we have had in Milwaukee and the southeastern Wisconsin area over the course of the past few days, it is still something where you get these rainy conditions, and especially again when it's in the mid-30s, it can even start to maybe get a little bit icy out there too. So we'll see exactly if the dicey conditions, icy or no, are ones that create some issues for either team here in the second half. But so far so good for the Carthage Firebirds, taking care of business, up 6 on Edgewood. Second half action coming up in just a little while. We're glad to have you on board with us on live.carthage.edu. Back with the second half after this. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. Back with you from a rainy Kenosha, Wisconsin, Art Keller Field, the campus of Carthage College. Kicking it with Estelle here. Our halftime stadium music. Had some We Got the Beat from the Go-Go's too. American Boy, 2008 classic from the British artist, Estelle. But whether it's Estelle or Belinda Carlisle, neither has been able to stop the Carthage offense, nor has Edgewood, as it is 9-3, as the Firebirds do have the beat and the 6-goal lead to start this one. And they will start the second half with possession. As mentioned at the end of the first half, we did get that push in the back foul against Ryan Tolbert, so he takes a knee on the near side in front of the press box. And we will not have a face-off to open the second half. It will be the Firebirds starting with the ball and the EMO. Edgewood did not have a chance to go on the EMO in the first half. Carthage was 2 of 4 with the extra man opportunity in the first 2 quarters of play. They'll try and make it 3 of 5 as they do start the third quarter with the extra man. Indication to cut Estelle and the music. And we do get the second half underway with Andrew Fry coming forward. From X, Johnson, back, working it around. Shot on and in. No, yes! And that's a goal for Jake Westland. Saw the net wrinkle. Took a moment, there was some hesitation. But it is a goal for Westland. Westland now has 2 goals in the game. The Firebirds are now 3 of 5 on the EMO. It comes just 14 seconds in. And the Firebirds are up 10-3. Face off. Spun around is Joey Workman. It is won by the Firebirds. Ben Thomas with the ground ball pickup. He's been doing a good job with the long pole tonight. Firebirds will work it forward after getting the EMO goal to start the third quarter. Mentioned Thomas with the long pole. That is now his 4th ground ball pickup of the evening. Only had 3 on the season coming into the night. See a replay on the goal in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Good work from X, and the Firebirds have been using X effectively this evening. Whether it's Westland or Johnson back there getting the job done, dictating things from behind the goal. Speaking of plays from X, back up top, Kroc looking for the dodge. Shot on and in! Ben Kroc pulls the trigger and connects! Turn out the lights for Ben Kroc! Laser beam of a goal! And the Firebirds are now up 8-11-3. Kroc leaps, fires, and dials long distance. That's a pretty looking goal. Another face-off win, too, for the Firebirds. Workman getting the job done. Bringing it forward is Paddock. He'll send it to the far side. Firebirds will cross it over to the near side. Gurn. Mentioned that Gurn leads the Firebirds in goals, at least coming into the night he did, but he has not had to do a lot of the work tonight. His teammates have picked things up in a big-time way. See the replay on this goal, and this is a pretty-looking one. Few steps to the side, leap with the right leg, bottom right corner. And there was nothing that Nick Cruz could do about it. Whoo-wee, what a goal. Eagles do get possession back. Had to take pause, though, to look at that goal one more time. That was a beaut. Couldn't have walked up to the goal and put it in there any better, much less with that kind of pace on the leap. .35 on the timer for the Eagles. Near side, Tashinsky does get a dodge. Had a peek at the goal, but decides to pass it back. Comes back to Stockwell. Stockwell tripped up. Flag does fly. Eagles hold possession for the time being. They're going to get their first EMO of the night. We get a whistle, and I think the Eagles were a little bit frustrated that they couldn't hold on to the ball there. I think the officials might have gotten confused and thought that possession was lost. Tashinsky wanted to keep that possession going. Nonetheless, it will be the first EMO of the night for Edgewood, as that'll be a trip. And it does look like Tyler Stockwell is being helped off the field here. At least I think that's Stockwell. We'll check on the number, but foul is a 1-minute one against Sam Wallace for the trip. And you'll see it here. Well, you'll see the aftermath there. That was a pretty brutal one, to be honest with you. That has been maybe the one flaw we have seen from Carthage thus far. Yeah, there's really no defending that one. He swung for the stick and caught his foot instead. Not necessarily saying it was intentional, but you got to know that his leg is going to be there, and it's going to cost him 1 minute of penalty time. Firebirds did come into this one with 3.3 penalties per contest, 10 penalties through their first 3 games. And if you look back at the numbers last year, that was kind of one stat that was a bit of a bugaboo for David Neff's team. So going on the kill is going to be what the Firebirds will try and do here. They'll try and make sure this EMO is unsuccessful for the Eagles. Edgewood with possession, though. They've got about 30 seconds left in this EMO. Again, first time tonight that the Eagles have had the extra man. Shot. Blocked. In fact, that was actually right into his teammate, Tashinsky, and now Tashinsky is down. We're going to get a whistle and another flag, though, and we're going to have interference called against the Firebirds. Now, we'll have to see here. It looked like Tashinsky, at least from my perspective, got hit by the shot, but maybe they're saying that Tashinsky got knocked down, and that might be the interference call. It's a 30-second technical, so now the Eagles are 2 men up. They call it against Josh Flores, the junior long pole out of Metameti, Minnesota. So the Eagles will have at least 11 seconds of being up 2 men. Some questions on the part of the Firebirds as to who exactly the foul was called on. Not much time for the Eagles to be up 2 guys, but we'll see if they can take advantage. Near side, Brady Hunn. To the left of the goal, trying a pass in front of the goal. Stockwell can't find Tashinsky. Eagles recover the ball, but they are now just up 1 man. And time is ticking down in that foul. 4, 3, 2, Rui on the right side. Firebirds send a man up. Immediately hits Hunn in the back. Does Ben Kroc. But the Firebirds did kill off the EMO for the Eagles, even with the Eagles being up 2 men at one point in that EMO. Ooh, nifty fake shot off the crossbar. No for Thomas. And the ground ball is picked up by the Firebirds. Good work by Lucas Baki to identify the ball off the shot. Now the Firebirds will try and clear. Making his way forward, Kroc gets around the defender. Good knowledge of the lines here at Art Keller Field. It is the somewhat hard to see gray lines for men's lacrosse here. He recognized that he could stay inbounds relative to the lacrosse lines while going out of bounds relative to the football lines, and that faked out the defender. The clear is successful for the Firebirds. They have not yet failed on one tonight. To the near side, Fry already has a hat trick. Points things out to his teammate Kroc. Kroc on the evening does have 1 goal. Back over to the near side, Fry again. Back to Croc, and Croc finds the back of the nets. 12-3. Second goal of the night for Croc. And the Firebirds are taking command here in the third quarter. It's 12-3. Four straight goals for the Firebirds if you go back to the second quarter. Correction, 5 straight goals. And the Firebirds starting to run away with this one. Face-off won by the Firebirds, controlled by Paddock. He loses it, though. Knocked away by Quackenbush. Quackenbush spun around. Ball comes out of his stick. Taken right back by Paddock. Paddock, good spin move at the face-off dot. Gives it up to Johnson. Johnson, a lot of free space. Somehow the ball falls out of his pocket. Taken away by the Eagles. Easy ground ball pickup for Andrew Stitch. But he tries to send the ball to the far side, and it goes out of bounds. Little Larry Moe and Curley action here after the 12th Firebirds goal. Hot potato, hot potato. See if the Firebirds kind of slow things down, and that could be the weather, too. You talked about that maybe having an impact. Anything, we've mentioned the footing, keeping the ball on your stick. Johnson coming up towards the goal. Now retreating. It's not just that. Sometimes it's the rain getting into your helmet and getting into your eyes, too. Have some trouble seeing, concentrating, all of those things. Nice fake. Getting the defender Maurer on the ground. Johnson shot on and in as Johnson distributes. And coming back to congratulate him is Bennett Pronk. Pronk with the goal off the assist from Johnson. And it's now a double-digit lead for the Firebirds, 13-3. Starting to see why Andrew Johnson is the reigning CCIW Player of the Week. Very unselfish. Four assists on the night for Johnson. First goal of the game for Pronk. He only had 1 point on the season coming into this one. It was an assist. Pronk, a freshman out of Rochester, Minnesota, part of a good Minnesota connection that the Firebirds have. May have something to do with the fact that assistant coach Noah Linder is from the Gopher State. Shot off the mark for the Firebirds, but they had the closer man, so they will get it back. Coming straight off the angle to the goal. Cameron gives it up. Firebirds will reset. Starting to see some different faces out there for the Firebirds with the 10-goal lead. We mentioned Pronk. Landon Bakke out there as well for the Firebirds. Johnson still there for Carthage. Loses the ball. Taken away by the Eagles. Dropped by Cruz, the goalie. Sent over to the far side. Eagles go in the wrong direction here. They've got 10 seconds to get it across. Over to the near side. Stitch sends it forward. Now the Eagles find some space. In fact, Firebirds get a little lost on defense. Far side of the field, that is Stockwell. Fortunately, the Firebirds recover. Now the Eagles will have to reset the offense. Again, the Eagles still look a little bit scrambly on the clear. Maybe it's a communication issue. Maybe just need a little bit of time on the practice field. But it is a somewhat young Eagles team. And here at Wolford in his 4th year, working on piecing things together as we get a shot and a goal from Edgewood. James Borgart with that goal. Second goal of the night for Borgart. That brings the lead back to single digits, 13-4. Fifth shot of the night for Borgart, and he converts. It's more than just executing on the attack, and so much of lacrosse, too, is at the D3 level in particular, and you see this even when you go and watch some high school lacrosse around the state of Wisconsin. It's been a WIAA sport for a little over a year now, officially. Actually, we should say a little under a year. First state championship was held at Bank of Sun Prairie Stadium in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin last year at the high school ranks, at least WIAA state-sanctioned championship, but it's just a lot of the time about connecting passes. And folks, these guys make it look easy, but if you've ever actually picked up a lacrosse stick out there, if you have not played the game yourself and tried to throw the ball and catch the ball, it is not something that is instinctual. It is even difficult for the guys at some of the highest levels, too. But the hand-eye coordination that these guys show, in addition to the speed and the physicality, is just amazing. But you have to work at it. And sometimes with the younger teams, just connecting on the passes, especially again when the weather starts becoming a challenge too, can be a bit of an issue. But the Eagles are working on it. 6-11 last year, 3-5 in the NAC. Hoping to improve on those numbers this year, and there is plenty of time to still improve over the course of the spring. Leaping shot, bounces wide from Nick Orozco. Mentioned that Orozco was one of the 2 goal scorers for Edgewood against that Calvin team that will be coming here to face the Firebirds over the weekend. That'll be on Saturday afternoon. Shot right into the pads of Jake Williamson. Off the stick of Zach Thomas. Firebirds will try and work back the other direction. Kroc, forward. Optimistic pass. Doesn't find its target. Fight for the ground ball. Still knocked around. Knocked up in the air. This is where you start to see some bodies fly. Ground ball is picked up by the Firebirds. Just sheer luck there for Carthage. Nice spin by Ben Kroc as he avoids James Borgart. And now the Firebirds will settle things down. A little over 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Carthage up 9. Some lengthy goal-scoring streaks tonight for Carthage. A couple of 5 goals in a row, and that is Andrew Johnson. We've talked about the assists. Now he's got a goal to his name, and it's 14-4. Andrew Johnson can do a little bit of everything. That time, he got the finish. Carthage back up 10. Face-off. Won by Carthage, but we're going to get a flag. There was big-time contact. And that is Jackson Schultz, the LSM for the Firebirds, who is down, and he looks like he is hurt. Just an awkward hit, and everyone's going to take a knee for a moment here as I don't know if we even want to show that one to you again. Jackson Schultz just took a big hit, and this is a little scary when you see a guy just down on the ground like this, as Schultz is right now. Do see him moving around, moving the arms. That's good. But it was a big hit. And that is going to be a major penalty against Alec Maurer. Right now it's showing on the clock as a 3-minute foul. You see the last goal from Andrew Johnson on your screen at the moment. But it is still Schultz that is on the ground, the freshman, 5'9", 170 pounds, out of Port Barrington, Illinois. It is a very physical game, folks, and sometimes this does happen where it's not even something that guys do on purpose. It's just a physical game, and it's good to see here as we do see Schultz rise to his feet and looks like he just got his bell rung. Unsurprisingly, of course, they will examine him, make sure that there is no concussion. Hopefully there is nothing, and now we'll take a look at that shot. He picks up the ground ball, and it's just head on. And you could see that was helmet to helmet. Doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, whether it's football, lacrosse, you name it. That is a dangerous play. And that is why you're going to see Maurer, who was the one who connected on that helmet-to-helmet hit, take a knee over here on the near side for the Eagles. It is showing as a 3-minute major foul on the board right now. And my guess is that's going to be non-releasable as well. So that means this will be a lengthy EMO for the Firebirds. And you did see the teammate of Alec Maurer, CJ Mandile. Freshman come over and give Maurer a Gatorade bottle and probably gave him a word of advice too, just saying, hey, you know what, try and shake it off. It happens. Rough sport. Tough sport, rough sport. And you do still see Jackson Schultz over there being looked at as we are now 30 seconds into the foul. Clock is actually stopped here as we have a timeout that is taken by Edgewood. They will talk things over having gotten possession, but they will be a man down for quite a bit of time. They're also down on the scoreboard, 14-4. This is Carthage Lacrosse. Quick update, Jackson Schultz still on the Carthage bench right now and still being talked to by the training staff. A number of teammates going over, giving him a quick pat on the knee, saying, hey, we hope you're all right. And will not be surprised if Mr. Schultz has seen the last of any action for tonight. The freshman LSM out of Port Barrington, Illinois. The big hit that was laid upon him by Alec Maurer is why the Firebirds have an EMO right now, and it will last for another 2 minutes and 30 seconds if it needs to, although it is the Edgewood Eagles, despite being a man down, with possession right now, down 10, 14-4, with a little over 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Eagles just trying to run out as much of this possession timer as they can in order to cut into the time that they are down a man. As you can see, this is basically just a chase of Nick Orozco going on right now. Orozco does take a hit. Contact made then as the ground ball was picked up by Sam Wallace. Zach Thomas is able to fight Wallace off and pick up the ground ball, although Carthage then kind of calls off the dogs a little bit. David Neff down on the Carthage sideline, not exactly happy with the way the Carthage handled that because that did reset the possession timer to a full 80 for the Eagles. Right now the foul is at 80 seconds as well, although the timer is now down to 45 for Edgewood. Edgewood content to just kind of walk out as much of this timer as they can. In fact, don't be surprised if they're willing to just kind of toss the ball to the side at the end of this possession in in order to run out that long penalty. As good as the Firebirds have been on the EMO, 3 of 5 before this one tonight, there's a good chance that with this 3 minutes of time, a man up, the Firebirds aren't going to be able to capitalize. Most of the possession in this EMO for the Firebirds has belonged to the Eagles. Rui on the far side, 4, 3, 2. Does kind of fire one towards goal, but not near the target. It will be a possession clock violation. Possession goes back to the Firebirds. They have about 30 seconds remaining on the EMO. Trying to hustle and take advantage. Britton Stanton gives it up to Kroc over to the far side. It'll be handed back to Kroc as the Firebirds sort out their personnel. Rocco Paddock. He'll head back to the Firebirds bench. That'll allow Andrew Fry, who's already got a hat trick on the night, to come back out there. Under 10 seconds remaining on the EMO. Shot by Fry and a goal! Andrew Fry with authority. He says, I'm not going to let this EMO go to waste. 15-4 for Carthage. Give Fry the haul. What a night for Andrew Fry. He makes the most of the end of the long EMO for the Firebirds. There is 4 seconds left on the EMO. As mentioned, it is non-releasable, so on the face-off here, the Firebirds will have the extra man. It will not last long. Maurer, or a replacement for Maurer, will be coming out shortly. It looks like they are going to send out Alex Kimmel in Maurer's place. Face-off won easily by the Firebirds and Rocco Paddock. Indeed, the EMO does come to an end. Kimmel does take to the field. Might be a chance that might be the last we see of Maurer tonight as well. Replay of the goal upstairs. That's the kind of shot that has Nick Cruz checking his stick to see if there's a hole in it afterwards. Timeout taken. Believe it was taken by Carthage. We will check on that, though. No, taken by the Eagles. With 34.9 left in the third quarter. We will take timeout as well. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. Little over 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. A timeout was taken by Edgewood there, as Carthage has a 15-4 lead on the Eagles of Edgewood. Andrew Fry having an outstanding night. He leads the way right now with 4 goals for the Carthage Firebirds. Carthage also with possession here, trying to maybe get one more before we go to the quarter break. Far side, Kroc. To the point. 20 seconds. It's Fry. Can't find anything on the dodge. Sends it back to Kroc. Kroc gets a screen. Near side. Johnson thought about it. Looked for it from the seam. Back to the near side. Shot. That goes wide. And that will do it for the third quarter. There is still 9/10 of a second on the clock. They do stop the clock before the quarter comes to an end, but that is not enough time for Carthage to get anything of note off. And we do conclude the third quarter with Carthage still up on Edgewood, 15-4. Carthage getting it done on the EMO, getting it done on the defensive side as well, taking care of business against this Edgewood Eagles team looking to go 4-0 on this young season. We'll come back with the fourth quarter after this. You are watching Carthage Firebirds Lacrosse. Back for the final period of this contest between Edgewood and Carthage, as Carthage has the 15-4 lead. As we get the fourth quarter underway, it has been all Carthage in this contest ever since they rebounded from Edgewood scoring the first goal of the game. Quick stat comparison, 11 assists for Carthage compared to just 1 for Edgewood, 32 shots for Carthage, at least at last count. We are struggling a little bit tonight. Maybe it's the rain. Maybe it's the website host for our stats, but our stats are still showing as being in the 357 mark, at the 357 mark of the third quarter. So not exactly complete numbers there that we have. So that's what we have. But it's still a good measure of just how dominant the Firebirds have been, particularly on the attack this evening. Although we do see the ball pop out of the stick of Alec Gurn there. Gurn maybe hasn't had the night that he's wanted to thus far. Andrew Johnson getting it done in terms of assists tonight. He also does have a goal. We talked about Andrew Fry having 4 goals in the contest. However, Edgewood does get possession back as the ball comes out of Gurn's stick, and they will go on the attack much the way they got the first goal of the game. They will try and get the first goal of the fourth quarter, as again, rain is pouring down here at Art Keller Field. I am not looking forward to the walk back to the car after this one gets done. Fortunately, I'm here in a little booth by myself, shielded from the elements. Mentioned that it was 35 degrees at the start of this game with all of the precip that has come down. A little surprised that it hasn't turned to snow flurries just yet, but that drive home could be interesting this evening for all sides, including all of the folks who came here supporting the Eagles from Edgewood, the Madison area. Trip up I-94. Hopefully everyone does get home safe, of course. Take your time on the way home if you are tuning in on your mobile device. If you are, we thank you for joining us. Wherever you may be watching us, wherever you may be watching us around the world, as Carthage gets possession back. That's a ground ball pickup for Nolan Hazelwood, freshman midfielder. And again, we do start to see some different faces out there for the Firebirds with this 11-goal lead and 13 minutes remaining in the contest. Jacob Cameron is a familiar face, though. We'll see who exactly the Firebirds rotate on. Bennett Pronk, talked about him earlier. Landon Baki, he gets out there. Ball to the far side. Back to Pronk. Pronk will help set things back up for the Firebirds with about half of their 80 seconds on the possession timer. Over to the far side, Angelo Cullen, wearing Jim Otto's 00. That's an old football reference for those of you out there in the crowd. Shot on, off the post for Andrew Johnston. Or Johnson, we should say. Firebirds are closer as the ball goes out over the sideline. It'll remain Firebirds' possession, and they'll get a full 60 with the shot clanging off the goalpost. Headed to the far side, Landon Baki. Both he and his brother Lucas Baki on this Firebirds team out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Landon is an attackman. Lucas, he's a long pole. Still out there is Alec Gurn for the Firebirds. He'll take a shot and score. Upper left corner. Tough angle. Gurn gets it to go. 16-4. Second goal of the game for Gurn. I stand corrected. That is his third goal. Lost track of one somewhere along the way there. Third Firebird to record a Hattie this evening. A little tough when the stats aren't always updating consistently for us, but yes! 16-4 is your score. The one stat that matters, Carthage leads by 12. Another face-off win for the Firebirds. They have just won, seemingly, face-off after face-off tonight. Might have to check the record books here. At last update for the stats, the Firebirds were 16 of 20 on face-offs on the night. That is just an insane 80% win rate for the Firebirds from the dot. Mentioned Trevor Baptiste. He would even love those numbers. Shot wide of the mark for the Firebirds. That was Westland. Firebirds do maintain possession, though, up 12. Only question now is what the final numbers are going to be. Jump, shot over the top, not there for Pronk. Pronk only had one shot on the season coming into tonight. Freshman out of Rochester, Minnesota. Mentioned that Minnesota connection, and as we see Landon Bakke, another Minnesota guy, take a shot, and that goes wide. The connection between lacrosse and hockey should be somewhat obvious. One on ice, one on turf, but very similar skills, and goodness knows the state of Minnesota loves its hockey like you wouldn't believe, so no surprise that there are some good lacrosse players coming out of Minnesota as well. The thought process, the distribution, passing, all somewhat similar between the two sports, as well as trying to target spots on the net. 20 on the possession timer for the Firebirds. Although that's a pass wide of the mark by Jacob Cameron. Turnover for the Firebirds. Eagles will try and go on the clear. Spun around, but it will be a successful clear as Quackenbush. Firebirds caught in transition, and they will pay the price. That'll be another goal for Lake Rui. Rui gets Edgewood back on the board. That makes it 16-5. Rui, kind of the focal point of the Edgewood attack, having a decent night, at least relative to what we have seen out of Edgewood this evening. He now has a couple goals in the game. Joins his teammate Borgart with two. Firebirds get possession, though, off of another face-off win. We have finally had the long-awaited stat update after that last goal, and the face-off numbers right now, Carthage 20 of 24 on face-offs right now. That is borderline ridiculous. I take out my calculator here. 83% face-off win rate. Goodness. And they keep getting it done, as we do see with the Firebirds with possession off the Eagles' goal. Far side, Gurn takes a shot and puts it in. Alec Gurn wanted his Hattie. He got it on the last goal, and now he's got four. Gurn joins Fry with 4 goals on the evening. He is the 7th Carthage goal scorer of the night, and the goals they have scored add up to 17. Back to a 12-goal lead for the Firebirds. 9:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. And again, at this point, it's as much about the stat sheet as anything else. We'll have a timeout taken. It is taken by the Eagles. And we'll take one as well. 17-5, Carthage up on Edgewood. This is Firebirds Lacrosse. Out of the timeout. Another face-off. Carthage up 12, 17-5. Edgewood setting some priorities for the final 10 minutes of this contest. 9.5, we should say. There'll be a face-off violation against the Firebirds. Joey Workman will come over to the bench. Maybe got started a little bit early there. Tried to anticipate the whistle. Edgewood gets possession. A rare face-off loss for the Firebirds in this contest. On the near side, James Borgart. Mentioned he has a couple goals in the contest for the Eagles. More counterclockwise action from Edgewood on the attack. Tushinsky. Little skip pass over to the far side. Stockwell on the near side. 25 on the timer. Looking to go on the dodge. Tushinsky. Shot is wide. Eagles will maintain possession. 15 seconds left on the possession timer. Ill-fated pass towards the middle of the field. Was a full 2 steps behind his teammate, out of bounds. Firebirds ball. Forward quickly for the Firebirds. Henry Arnold. Freshman midfielder out of Peoria, Illinois. Set it up to Kyle Sisney. Junior midfielder, a Warhawk, Heartland Arrowhead. Screen set for Pronk. Scrap for possession. Cameron's still out there for the Firebirds. Even as they rotate some new men into the rotation, it's a turnover for the Firebirds. Question is, though, can the Eagles get it out of their defensive zone? No, they cannot. It is taken away by Alec Gurn. And Gurn says, you know what? Let's make this easy. Goal, Carthage. That is now the 5th goal of the game for Gurn, who is piling on late. Biggest lead of the night for the Firebirds, as they are now up 18-5. Gurn gets a pat on the back from assistant coach Noah Linder. David Neff has to be happy with Gurn's performance as well, and that may be it for tonight for Gurn, as we see a new face-off man out there for the Firebirds as well, Kian Schugel. He's a sophomore out of Victoria, Minnesota. Second time he's been at the face-off dot this year. Going to whistle on a flag. Looks like this is going to be a procedure foul against Carthage. 30-second technical. They're going to call it on Ben Thomas, sophomore LSM. Thomas will take a knee, and Edgewood will go on the EMO. The Eagles 0 of 2 on the EMO tonight. Trying to capitalize for the first time this evening. Some confusion on the part of Edgewood here. Clock is running. On the far side, not out on the field, is Nick Orozco. Eagles trying to sort out their special teams. Little fake handoff. Stockwell now working around. Edgewood, shot wide of the mark. Orozco kind of with a fake screen there, tried to take out Lucas Bakke. 4 seconds remaining in the foul. See if Edgewood can get a shot off. Well, they still have the extra man. Here comes Britton Stanton to join the fray. And guess what? The Eagles are now 0 of 3 on the EMO. Far side, Thomas. He's got a goal in the contest. Working his way behind the net. Pass from X, up top. Thinking about the shot is Tashinsky. He'll give it up to the far side. Orozco over the top. Kind of a change up there. Went with the bouncing shot. Goes up and over the top of the goal. No reset on the timer. So 13 on that timer, although the timer is not running. At least it didn't initially there. Shot looked like it was deflected. Blocked. New goalie out there for Carthage. That is 44, Hayden Jones. Third time that he has seen action this year. Firebirds successfully clear the ball just in time. Got to get it across the midfield stripe in 20 seconds. Otherwise, it is a turnover. Clock hits 60 just as they got it across. Possession timer starts at 80 when you get it on a change of possession. Possession timer also resets to 60 if you put a shot on frame and pick up the subsequent ground ball. Kind of like how college basketball has the shot clock. Resets to a full 30 if there's a change of possession. Resets to 20 off of an offensive rebound. Very similar concept. This has been Lacrosse 101 here on live.carthage.edu. That is a pass that is wide of the mark, and you don't need Lacrosse 101 to understand that. Ends up being a turnover. Running over to the bench is Landon Bakke, and he may hit himself in the head with his stick after knowing that pass was just not where he wanted it to be. Stockwell brings it forward for the Eagles. Tashinsky. A little under 5 minutes left in this contest. Edgewood finds themselves down 13, but again, they did get the first goal of the game. We have seen some signs that this Eagles team may make some noise in the NAC. Again, 3-5 in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference last year. Shot wide of the mark. Stockwell couldn't get it to go. Nearest player there was wearing white. Carthage gets possession. Mention that Carthage is going up against Calvin, who did a number on Edgewood in their opener coming out of Grand Rapids, the Calvin Knights. That's going to be a battle over the weekend, and we're looking forward to having that one as well for you on live.carthage.edu. 1 o'clock start on Saturday. Busy weekend here at Carthage College. Mentioned the CCIW Men's Basketball Championships, which Carthage won the right to host by being the number 1 seed. Those will be going on Friday and Saturday as well. Talked about the water polo going on Friday. Indoor track meet as well. Lots happening here on the Carthage campus, so plenty of good reason to come down here to Kenosha. Always love making the trip down here. I am from the Milwaukee area myself. Enjoy heading to downtown Kenosha. Check out some of my favorite establishments. I'm kind of partial to Sazzy Bees is the name of the place. Little jazz bar in downtown Kenosha. Not pulling a plug or anything, just saying. Of course, the Carthage fans tonight very happy with the fact. As Andrew Fry puts a shot on. Saved by Cruz. 15 goals means that the Carthage fans get some free Culvers. Big cheer went up when the Firebirds got their 15th goal of the game, so there will be some certificates handed out as people make their way out of Art Keller Field tonight. Always a popular promotion, and Culver is a proud partner of Carthage Firebirds Athletics. Not that you need many more reasons than there already are to enjoy a Butterburger or some of that great root beer that they have at Culver's. Can pull some plugs for Culver's, why not? But the fact that they are supportive of the Firebirds and their many athletic endeavors, certainly a good thing as well. On the far side of the field, Brady Hunn. Shot goes wide. Firebirds trying to make the case that they were the ones that were closest, and indeed the indication is it's Firebirds' possession. Run out of time in this one. This one was decided quite a while ago. 18-5 is your score. The Firebirds doing what they need to do tonight against the Eagles of Edgewood. Looking to move to 4-0 on the season, and they will do it. Bouncing ball on the near side. Alex Hernandez out there with the long pole. He is from Willowbrook, Illinois. Andrew Johnson, surprised to see him still out there for the Firebirds. Again, reigning CCIW Offensive Player of the Week. He's had a great night, although he turns it over there. Didn't see what the call there was, but it looked like it was against the Eagles. Maybe an off-ball push. Firebirds get possession back. Time ticking out. Near side, Cullen says, I don't want this. You take it back. Far side, Sawicki. Brandon Sawicki. A Wanakee Warrior. Wearing number 10 for the Firebirds. Johnson still out there leading things for Carthage at X. Maybe looking to get one more assist before the night is done, trying to set up one of his teammates who hasn't had as many opportunities. No, he's going to take the shot himself, Will Johnson. That goes wide of the mark. Possession stays with the Firebirds. Not on frame, so the possession timer remains in the 30s. Bennett Pronk, shot wide. Contact made with Johnson, so he's able to pick up the ground ball. Outside, Cullen, shot, save. Nick Cruz makes the stop for the Eagles. Under a minute remaining. Cruz over the top. Alex Kimmel, senior midfielder out of Milwaukee. Far side, Lake Rui. Under 30 seconds now. A solid win for the Firebirds tonight at Art Keller Field. We'll have final stats, and we'll talk with David Neff after this one gets done. At least I believe we will talk with David Neff. We will check on that during the break. Weather conditions being what they are, Coach Neff might just want to go into the locker room and warm up. One last shot. That is on and in for Tyler Stockwell. So we do get one last goal here for the Eagles. Stockwell had an assist on the night prior to that goal. Now you can count him among the goal scorers, the 4 goal scorers that the Eagles have had tonight. Rui and Borgart each have 2. Now Stockwell joins Zach Thomas with 1 goal in the contest, and that makes it 18-6. As we are very into multiples of 6 here tonight, here at Art Keller Field. 1.7 seconds left. Let's see if the Firebirds can get one more face-off win. Nope, we'll get a handshake instead. That is very sportsmanlike of both the Firebirds and the Eagles. A quick tap from Joey Workman to Caden Caldwell. And it's a final. The Carthage Firebirds celebrate under the blinking lights here at Art Keller Field with your final score, 18-6, Firebirds over Eagles. Solid victory for the Firebirds, who went on a couple 5-goal runs tonight. And they shut down Edgewood as they get ready for a big showdown against Calvin this weekend. As mentioned, we will have some final numbers for you after the break. We will also check and see if we will have an opportunity to talk with David Neff as part of our post game tonight. Nonetheless, the Firebirds moved to 4-0 on the season with an 18-6 victory over the Edgewood Eagles. This is Firebirds Lacrosse.
Direct your attention over to the scoreboard where the lacrosse team will ring the victory bell. Say it with me, folks.
Post-game time here on live.carthage.edu, where the Carthage Firebirds defeat the Edgewood Eagles tonight in men's lacrosse action, 18-6. They'll head over to ring the victory bell in just a moment, as is tradition here, the old main bell attached to the scoreboard here at Carthage. However, while we're waiting for the bell to sound its gong, we'll take a look at the team stats here on the broadcast. 18 goals tonight for Carthage compared to 6 for Edgewood. That is why they are victors. Also 12 assists on those 18 goals as well. And remember, in lacrosse, it's got to be a bang-bang play to get an assist. So to record 12 assists tonight means that the Firebirds were well connected and were able to find each other quite well, just moving a step faster than Edgewood tonight, as expected, given what we had seen from the stats coming into this one. So good ball movement on the part of the Firebirds. They looked good tonight, and they were able to get the job done. 49 shots compared to 23 for Edgewood on the evening. Also collecting 38 ground balls compared to Edgewood's 16. Credit to the long poles for the Firebirds for doing a good job of finding balls on the ground. Firebirds were perfect on the clear tonight. 19 of 19. Edgewood failed twice. They were 15 of 17 on the clear. Turnovers, 17-13. Edgewood had 4 more. So it is the Firebirds coming away with the victory. We'll take a look at some individual stats as well, some of the leaders in the contest. As for Carthage, you did have Alex Gurn coming away with 5 goals in the contest. Alec Gurn, we should say. 5 goals for him. But all credit as well to Andrew Fry, who got 4 goals, including some very pretty ones. Also had an assist in the game. You had 3 Firebirds with 5 points tonight, but also Andrew Johnson, again, the reigning CCIW Offensive Player of the Week, actually led the way with points with 6. Despite the fact he only scored 1 goal, he had 5 of those assists tonight. Johnson, again, a great job tonight of just finding his teammates in space and setting them up for some very pretty goals this evening. Johnson now with 13 assists on this young season through 4 games. He has been outstanding to start the year for the Firebirds. In terms of total shot numbers, Gurn led the way with 10. Johnson had 8. Bennett, Prunk, and Fry had 6 for the Firebirds. On the other side for Edgewood, leading the way were Lake Rui and James Borgart with 2 goals each. Zach Thomas and Tyler Stockwell each scored 1 goal for the Eagles. In terms of assists, we mentioned they only had 1. That belonged to Stockwell. Top shooters for the Eagles were Borgart with 5, Thomas, Rui, and Maddox Tashinsky, the midfielder, a sophomore out of Round Lake Beach, Illinois, and I neglected to mention the beach earlier. Goodness knows that they like their beach down there in Round Lake. They each had 4 shots apiece. In terms of some of the other team numbers as well, we've talked about Carthage is so good on face-offs. 21 of 27 on the evening, only losing 6 face-offs on the night. Talked about the turnovers too. Carthage did commit 4 fewer of those than Edgewood with that 17-13 number. And also on the EMO, Carthage was very good tonight as well. 4 of 6 on the extra man opportunity compared to 0 of 3 for the Edgewood Eagles tonight. So there you have it, an 18-6 final for the Carthage Firebirds. I want to thank everyone involved with the broadcast. My understanding is we will not have a coach's interview. Mike Love, the executive producer. John Voinovich, the producer for the broadcast. Laura Stockham, our director, doing a great job as always. Matt Agnew on graphics. Daniel Pluchak and Emma Snyder running the cameras this evening. My name is Dan Pfeiffer. I'm saying be a fan. Thanks for joining us, and do make sure to join us on Saturday when your Carthage men's lacrosse team tries to make it 5-0 but gets a challenge from the Knights of Calvin. We will have that broadcast, and I will be right back here at our Keller Field with a start time of 1 o'clock. Broadcast will get underway at 12:55. Once again, your final score tonight. The Carthage Firebirds move to 4-0 on the season. They defeat the Edgewood Eagles 18-6. This program has been a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College. Good night, everybody.